Penguin Random House Audio presents The Beast by J.R. Ward. Read for you by Jim Frangione. 1. Brownswick School for Girls, Caldwell, New York. Ants under the skin. As Rhage transferred his weight from one shit-kicker to the other, he felt like his bloodstream had come to a soft boil, and the bubbles were tickling the underside of every fucking square inch of his flesh. And that wasn't the half of it. Random muscle fibers misfired all over his body, the spasms causing fingers to twitch, knees to jerk, shoulders to tighten like he was about to go tennis racket on something. For the 1,000,000th time since he'd materialized into his position, he peeper-swept the ragged, overgrown meadow up ahead. Back when the Brownswick School for Girls had been a functioning entity, the field in front of him had no doubt been a rolling lawn that had been well mowed in the spring and summer, de-leafed in the autumn, and snow-covered pretty as a children's book in the winter. Now it was a touch football field from hell, studded and tangled with gnarled bushes that could do more than just aesthetic damage to a guy's crotchticular region. Saplings that were the ugly, misshapen stepchildren of the more mature maples and oaks, and late October brown long grass that could trip you like a little bitch if you were trying to sprint. Likewise, the brick buildings, which had sheltered and provided living and instructional spaces to the privileged elite's offspring, were aging badly without regular maintenance. Windows broken, doors rotting, off-kilter shutters opening and shutting in the cold wind, as if the ghosts couldn't decide whether they wanted to be seen or just heard. It was the campus from Dead Poets Society. Assuming everyone had packed up after the movie had been shot in 1988, and nobody had touched a fucking thing since. But the facilities were not empty. As Rhage took a deep inhale, his gag reflex did a couple of push-ups in the back of his throat. So many lessers were hiding in the abandoned dormitories and classrooms that it was impossible to isolate individual scents from the sinus-numbing stench of the whole. Christ, it was like putting your face in a chum bucket and inhaling like the world were about to run out of oxygen. Assuming someone had added baby powder to all the day-old fish heads and goo. For that sweet finish, don't you know? As his skin went on another shimmy-shimmy, he told his curse to hold its hey nannies, that hell yeah, it was going to get let off the chain ASAP. He wasn't even going to attempt to hold the damn thing in. Not that trying to throw the brakes on it was ever successful, anyway. And whereas giving the beast free rein was not always a good thing, tonight it was going to be an offensive Benny. The Black Dagger Brotherhood was facing how many lessers? 50? 150? That was a lot to handle, even for them. So yeah, his little present from the scribe virgin was going to come in handy. Talk about your ringer from out of town. Over a century ago, the mother of the race had given him his own personal TO system, a behavior modification program that was so onerous, so unpleasant, so overwhelming that it did, in fact, manage to bring him back from the brink of total douchebaggery. Courtesy of the dragon, unless he managed his energy levels properly and moderated his emotions, all hell broke loose. Literally. Yup, in the course of the last century, he had become largely successful at making sure the thing didn't eat his nearest and dearest, or get them on the nightly news with a Jurassic Park is alive headline. But with what he and his brothers were facing now, and how isolated this campus was, if they were lucky, the great purple-scaled bastard with the chainsaw teeth and the hollow-legged hangry was going to get his Nobu on. Although, again, a lesser-only diet was what they were looking for. No brothers as Hot Pockets, please, and no humans as tapas or dessert, thank you very much. The latter was more out of discretion than affection. Shit knew those rats without tails never went anywhere without two things: a half-dozen of their evolutionarily inferior, nocturnally codependent, fuck-twit buddies, and their goddamn cell phones. Man, YouTube was a total pain in the ass when you wanted to keep your war with the undead
Sample complete. Ready to continue?